What's good, Austin? This is your host, Corey Tabor, the Purpose Partner and founder of Triple I Coaching, where we are informing, instructing, and inspiring you to fulfill your purpose. I am so excited to introduce our new podcast, What's Good, Austin, a podcast designed to highlight the good work that people are doing in our community. You know, I've lived in Austin for over 25 years since moving here from Abilene, Texas to attend the University of Texas. Hook 'em horns. I love our community, and I want you to know about many of the good things that are happening in our city. So many of our media outlets thrive on the challenging things that are happening in our city, like record-breaking homicides, a high population of residents experiencing homelessness, and the traffic. Let's not start talking about the traffic. With all the challenges we see on a daily basis, we need a hope shot, something that will inspire us to partner together to see the change we want to see in our city by being the change we want to see in our city. So I will be interviewing people who are doing good work in the business and nonprofit sectors, as well as in our education and faith communities. We might even interview a few celebrities because they tend to love Austin too. There's an often quoted slogan that says, "Keep Austin weird." Well, we're going to keep Austin winning by focusing on the good work we're seeing in our city. Now I need you to go to your preferred podcast platform and subscribe to What's Good Austin. Then share this podcast with your friends, family members, co-workers, and your crazy cousins. Let's kick off 2022 with a bang, focused on looking forward to seeing the journey that we can have together as we discover what is good in our city and partner together to make Austin even greater. Again, this is your host, Corey Tabor, the Purpose Partner. Until next time, remember to love your family, be a good neighbor, and make a deposit in someone else's life today. What's good, Austin? We continue today's interview with Leslie Rode and Judy Maggio, focused on ATX Good News. You know, so let's talk about the show ATX Good News. I want to get to it, talk about it now that I've gotten to know you guys a little bit better. And what I want to do is just kind of tell people about the show. I want to give them a chance to, hear about what you guys are working towards. And while I do that, I'm going to pull up the Facebook page here so that everybody can see y'all's beautiful logo, which I think is so cool. People don't understand sometimes how good a word-based logo can be.
Thank you.
There's no pictures here, but what it says is simplicity, professionalism, and it can be put on anything. You can put it on a shirt, you can put it on a pen, you can put it on a notebook, a notepad, and it's cheaper to produce than an image. So anyways, that's my little marketing.
Yeah. We plan to do all of those things.
We do have t-shirts. But they're not. We haven't.
Cool. I need to buy one of those. So tell me about the show, you guys. What made you decide to start developing ATX Good News?
I'll start, Leslie. We have been talking about this show. We both, when we left commercial television, missed storytelling. But the stories that we wanted to tell weren't always the stories that we had to front on television news. I think that solid journalism, hard news journalism, is so important to our world to inform citizens of the issues that they need to know about to make choices for their lives. But the stories that always made my heart sing were the stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And I know Leslie felt the same way in her career. So we've been planning this for a long time, trying to figure out how we could utilize our skill set as former anchors and storytellers and reporters in a non-news kind of format and share these uplifting, positive stories in our community, because we felt like, especially now when we live in this, negative news cycle, lots of polarization, that we forget that at their core, most humans are kind and loving, and they're doing amazing things for each other and for their community. So I guess that's really how it started. And we love working together. We're dear, dear friends. We call each other sister. And we're so much alike. And we find joy in spending time together and in the work. So talk about a purpose, that to me is living that purpose and that passion for storytelling and having a good time. And we get to do that at this stage of life. And that's a real gift.
That is, I tell you, when you're working with friends and you're doing what you love to do, it doesn't even feel like work. Um,
Right.
I have a friend that I built through a service. Like, so I needed a new barber, and this guy that I knew who was a preacher's kid, a musician, went back to barber school because he always wanted to do more than just play music. He wanted to cut his hair. He wanted to cut hair, wanted to own his own barber school, open up his own shop. And so I went when he was a student and got a $7 haircut. Well, it's a free haircut with a donation, right? And we started talking and connecting about our past and our backgrounds and growing up in the church. We both grew up in a Pentecostal background, kind of more traditional, more kind of religious and very strict. And we thought about, man, what kind of churches could be established if we stepped outside of kind of the normal environment and thought about how we could reach people who don't go to church. And so we're getting ready to launch a outreach ministry that is going to be outside of the four walls, focused on music, because we're in the live music capital of the world, and really giving people a chance to just come hear music, hear a positive message, connect with people, and somewhere along the way, you will probably find Jesus. And when you do, you know all these people already. You've been serving together, you've been
Yeah.
connecting online, and who doesn't want to go to a concert? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and so it was this connection of backgrounds that were similar,
Yeah.
thinking through what would I have wanted if I was 22 years old and got invited to a community of faith. And now we do stuff together. And it's like, literally, we're going to go to a church service tonight to appreciate a friend of ours who's a pastor. And then he's celebrating 1 year of his new church. And then afterwards, we're going to go work on this new launch thing. And it's just like, it will probably be 11:30 or 12 o'clock before I get done. And I won't even feel it because it's purpose and it's the persons that we enjoy spending our time with.
Yeah.
So tell me about some of the stories you guys have been able to do so far that you've enjoyed talking about. Give me one of those great, stories that you've shared so far in the show.
Well, we have so many. We have so many. We've highlighted and shared stories about our area nonprofits because we feel like some of the best stories in Austin are all in the nonprofit world. Those people who are really filling the gaps out there of needs, of services, of people in our community. But we've done stories on large nonprofits, small nonprofits. We've done stories about high school kids who are starting their own nonprofits to try to fill a need that they see is out there. And all the way down to something as small as a woman who sees a good neighbor hop out of a car to help push another car to the side of the road to the gas pump because they ran out of gas. It's a random stranger who just passed by. And she sent us a video and we celebrated that because that's the spirit that we're trying to produce, this being the good neighbor and noticing good news when it happens and noticing kindness when it happens, because we hear so much about the negativity. The kindness and the good news stories, we believe, are out there. We just don't focus on them sometimes. And so we're trying to get people to really put their focus toward that and celebrate that with us.
That's great. I mean, I think that, when you get a chance to highlight nonprofits, Austin has, I think, more nonprofits per capita than any other city in
We
the
do.
US. Yeah. I got my certification in nonprofit management and leadership at ACC, which I think ACC is an underutilized resource in our community.
Oh, it's a wonderful resource in this community.
People, get you some ACC education, okay? I have degrees from the University of Texas, from Rockbridge Seminary. I've taken courses at A&M. I've taken courses at Regent. I've taken courses at Liberty. Here's the dealio. We pay taxes so that we can have a community college to not only educate our young people who are 18 and coming out of high school or who are in college getting dual credit, but it's for you to continue your education. Man, go back and get a certification in fundraising. Go back and get a certification and learn how to code or learn how to, I don't know, capital ideas connected with them, all kinds of great opportunities. And it's affordable one, but oh my gosh, ACC as a system is just such a great resource. So please take advantage of that. But anyways, this I had a friend who's in development, and I said, man, I'm looking to start this nonprofit. And he said, before you do your research and find out is somebody already doing what you want to do.
Yes, there's overlap for
Yeah,
sure.
partner with them instead. But everybody wants their own thing, you know what I'm saying? But what I've realized is COVID kind of paused the launch of my nonprofit. And in the process, I ended up working with a nonprofit that is going to pay me to do what I was going to do with my nonprofit.
There you go.
They got the
Perfect.
history, they got the organizational history, they have the financial stability, they have the community presence and impact. And even when you think about grant funding for many of the nonprofits, they're looking for history. And so even as a nonprofit, if you're starting, being like a subcontractor with a nonprofit on a grant is going to be easier than you actually getting a grant yourself. So if you're thinking about starting a nonprofit, friends, do some research and find out if there's already one in Austin, because I almost can guarantee you there is one. Judy, I would love for you to tell people a little bit about Community First Village. This is a place that I went to 2 weeks ago to study for my doctorate degree. I was taking a class called Asset-Based Community Development, and tears flowed. And I
It
was
is
just
a
like, this is
yes.
not the best nonprofit in the world.
It is a special place in my heart. I was lucky enough to get a tour of Community First Village before they ever broke ground. I consider Alan Graham a friend, and now Amber Fogarty, who is his right-hand person running Community First Village. And we've done a couple of stories with them on ATX Good News, and I'm sure that we'll do many more. But one of the stories that we share that I think people don't realize, this is a place for the chronically homeless. And it gives them a sense of purpose and a sense of community. The folks live in tiny houses, and they're not just there getting a free handout, they're there participating in the community every single day. And last year alone, Community First Village residents, the neighbors who live there, combined produced something like $1.2 million in dignified income. And that means they were working in the garden, they were leading groups, they were groundskeeping, they were part of this neighborhood. And it has been such a success that Community First Village is now a model for the nation. And the world. People come from all over the world to go, how did you do this? And this was just, an outgrowth of Mobile Loaves and Fishes, which was feeding the homeless, people experiencing homelessness. And now there is this wonderful community. It's home to several hundred people and just started the next phase. They'll have several hundred more homes where people can lift themselves out of this constant struggle to find a place to sleep and where to eat when they're homeless, and give them this sense of purpose and community. So I'm a big believer and a big cheerleader for Community First Village, as you could tell.
Yeah, I think what fascinated me the most is oftentimes with nonprofits, when we deal with people who cannot do anything for us, we give them the bare minimum of what is needed. And so, at a pregnancy center, somebody might get an off-brand diaper just because that's what was donated. Or at a food bank, they might get an off-brand, peach jar or peach can because that's what was needed. But at Community First Village, the quality of the tiny homes and the work that the volunteers put in to make them feel like home, the dignity I felt for our neighbors who are experiencing homelessness, the Remembrance Garden, oh my goodness, where these people are here for life. Like, you're here until you leave, and when you leave, we will not forget you. I was just blown away. My daughter, who's now 8, I was doing a partnership with a church on the east side. They have a church on 2nd Street in Medina. They're called Christ Church, Austin. And I was going there for a meeting. We drove down Cesar Chavez, and this is back before the tent ban was reinstated. But we drove by and we saw all these people in tents. And she asked me, Daddy, can we get tents for these people? And I said, man, we could totally go onto Facebook, do an Amazon wish list, and you can talk to everybody on there and invite them to do that. And I just think about, so we're going to see Encanto. They're showing a movie night at the end of this month.
Oh, you're going to go out to see the movie night at the Village?
Yes. So Encanto is one of her favorite movies. She's in a dual language Spanish program right now. She just loves Encanto. And I was like, man, we're going to Encanto, but she's going to get this tour of this place that is the answer to the problem that she cares about. And I'm just like, I see us adopting one of these tiny homes and going in as a family and decorating it and And I'm just like,
Yeah, there's so many ways to volunteer.
Yeah.
We've done it several times, and it's always rewarding. We went out at Christmas time and bought gifts from the gift shop there, all handmade gifts from the neighbors who live there. There's just so many ways to get involved.
yeah, it's so many ways. And like you said, the expansion across the street, and then the Burleson location that'll be starting as well. And like you said, it being a national model. That's what's good about Austin.
Mhm.
Graham, and what's good about Austin, these people who have made a decision he made a downward mobility step, out of corporate America.
Yes,
And
Yes, he
he
did.
did,
gave his
and
life
he
away.
lives there. He and his wife Trisha live there.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Purpose.
So,
Purpose.
purpose, yes. So tell me, what do you guys see as the future of ATX Good News? What are y'all looking forward to doing as you continue this year? We're only in the second month of the year, but what's coming down the pipeline?
Well, we're only in the second month of ATX Good News, I think, about right now, too. We started in the very first week of January or second week of January in 2022. So we don't have full vision, but we have a lot of hopes and dreams. We just want, as we stated, and we were talking a little bit about purpose and mission earlier, we hope that more people will join us in taking some time, more time day to day to notice good news happening in our community. There are a lot of national and international good news social media platforms that focus on good news happening all over the world. We are hyper focused to the Austin and Central Texas community because we think we need to really start with community. That's where it is first. You have up our Facebook page there, ATX Good News Now. That's where you can find us. We started on Facebook. We have a live stream every Friday at noon or some sort of content, longer program. We put up content all week long on Facebook and on our Instagram site. We also have a YouTube site. So I see us growing in terms of platforms, possibly even a podcast and things like that. But right now we are happy just trying to build our following and hoping that more people will join our cause. People like you, Corey, we're so thankful that you gave us this opportunity today.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that my network will get on board with what you're doing and not only send you stories, but follow what you're doing so that we can get the exposure that's needed on this good news.
Yes.
So I know you guys have a lot of stories already, but where can people?
Oh, we need more. I said
Yeah.
at first we were a little over playing catch up, but we're in a
Where
good
can they
spot
find
now. ATXgoodnews@gmail.com is where they need to send those stories. And I got to tell you, it's really heartwarming when Leslie and I are out and about in the community. People know about ATX Good News.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, I have an idea for you," and that's what it's all about. And we just want to expand that. We want this to be something positive and uplifting for the entire community that people want to share. And that, and as Leslie said, somebody sees someone helping someone who ran out of gas, or the 100,000th dog that's been adopted at Austin Pets and Life, whatever that is. Let's all join forces and remember that Austin is a loving, kind, caring community, and we're all in this together. And that is the best way to move forward, together as a community. So many people are coming into town, newcomers. We need to teach them about Austin and who we are, and that we are one of these welcoming places, and we care about one another.
We really do. And I think we all know that we are what we think about a lot of times. So we believe that the more we can put that focus physically, mentally, everything on the goodness, we will strive to want to live that out more. So we want your stories, but we also hope we inspire you to do good and to be a good neighbor.
To volunteer, to start your own, like you said, nonprofit, if that's the case.
Yeah, definitely. And if you need a consultant on starting your own nonprofit, hey, I can help. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I can help you get started. Well, here's what I'll say as we get ready to close today. You guys have been an inspiration to me in the second act. I'm 45, so I still got half of my life left, I hope. But it took me getting to my mid-40s to say, I'm not going to worry about what people think. I'm just going to do what I feel called to do. And you get secure enough in who you are and who you're not, what you do well, what you don't do well. And so I pay people to do the stuff I don't do well. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I can be an amateur and try to do this myself, and sometimes I do. But a lot of times I will just say, hey, let me pay somebody to do this. Let me try to find somebody, because in the end, if I can focus my energy and time on what I do best, I give the world the gift of who I was made to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what you all are doing with this show. You're giving the world the gift of who you were made to be. And I don't know if y'all ever see it like hitting access television or syndication, but just know that we live in a generation of platforms that give us a chance to reach people at a very low cost with a huge impact. And so keep telling your stories, keep doing what you're doing. Be encouraged, because I mean, I'm looking at your Facebook page. You literally already have 1,600 and 1,664 people following your page. That is amazing. That is so awesome. So let's get them to 2,000 this week, y'all.
Yeah, let's do it. And
Call somebody. Say,
Corey,
hey,
we so admire, and I just wanted to tell you, we really admire what you're doing. I mean, I think our missions will mirror one another so much, and let's continue to cross promote one another and share this good news, because it takes more than one show, right? You know,
Exactly.
we need to keep spreading the word.
Yeah, and we should say, Corey, too, that all of your fans out there, your listeners and viewers, we've asked Corey to be a good news neighbor in the coming weeks. So we highlight a good news neighbor every week, and he'll be ours coming up. So you want to make sure you tune into ATX Good News and hear what Corey has to say.
Well, you know, I have a mic and we'll speak. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so excited to do that, and grateful for the opportunity. So definitely want to thank you all for being on the show today. Make sure you guys send them stories at atxgoodnews@gmail. Make sure to go like their Facebook page. And until next time, this is Corey Tabor, the Purpose Partner. Remember to love your family, be a good neighbor, and make a deposit in someone else's life today.